Hello everyone, I am Shupriya Khoshal, faculty member of Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Science and Technology. Today I have discussed about the chapter that is earth pressure. In the first slide, we have to know what is the definition of earth pressure. Earth pressure refers to natural movement of the earth soil. It is sometimes referred to the lateral earth pressure, which measured by the amount of tension that occur basement or retaining structure. A retaining wall is used for maintaining the ground surface at the different elevation on either side of it. A material retained or supported by the structure is called backfill, which may have its top surface horizontal or inclined. The position of the backfill laying above the horizontal plane at the elevation of the top of the wall is called surface, and its inclination to the horizontal is called surface angle. Here in this figure we have find surface, backfill and retaining wall. Here the whole structure is called retaining wall, and the retaining wall is supported on the backfill on the top of the wall. There is some load which is called surface. Firstly, we have discussed about the lateral earth pressure. In 1929, Terzaghi conducts an experiment on the retaining wall and shows that the relations of pressure on the wall. If wall changes its position, the movement inward to the backfill, outward of it, or remain at its place. There are three types of earth pressure on the basis of movement of wall. Number 1, earth pressure at rest. Number 2, active earth pressure. And number 3, passive earth pressure. This is the continuation of second slide. Firstly, we have to discuss about earth pressure at rest. When the wall is at rest and the material in its natural state, then the pressure applied by material is known as earth pressure at rest. It is represented by P0. From this picture, there is no deformation of wall, so this pressure is called earth pressure at rest condition, and there is no pressure by the earth. Second, active earth pressure. When the wall moves away from the backfill, there is a decrease in the pressure on the wall, and this decrease continues until a minimum value has reached, after which there is no reduction in the pressure and the value will become constant. This kind of pressure is known as active earth pressure. It is represented by PA. So, from the figure, wall move towards A to B. So, here is minimum pressure, that is PA. Next, passive earth pressure. When the wall moves towards the backfill, there is an increase in the pressure on the wall, and this increase continues until a maximum value is reached, after which there is no increase in the pressure and the value will become constant. This kind of pressure is known as passive earth pressure, and it is represented by PP. So from the figure, wall move from A to C, that means wall move towards the backfill. Here the maximum value is, we have shown passive earth pressure. If we consider pressure diagram is triangle, then P equal to half into base into height. In this slide, we have discussed about the coefficient of earth pressure. The ratio of horizontal stress sigma h to the vertical stress sigma v is called coefficient of earth pressure, that is denoted by K. Firstly, we have discussed about coefficient of earth pressure at rest. When the retaining wall is at rest, mean soil is at elastic equilibrium, then the ratio between the lateral earth pressure and the vertical pressure is called coefficient of earth pressure at rest. So, K0 equal to lateral pressure by vertical pressure equal to mu by 1 minus mu, that is 1 minus sine phi. Then, coefficient of active earth pressure. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill to the ratio between lateral earth pressure and vertical earth pressure is called coefficient of active earth pressure. Ka equal to lateral pressure by vertical pressure, that is 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. Then coefficient of passive earth pressure. When the retaining wall is moving towards the backfill, then the ratio between the lateral earth pressure and the vertical earth pressure is called coefficient of passive earth pressure. Kp equal to lateral pressure by vertical pressure, that is 1 plus sin phi by 1 minus sin phi. In this slide, I have discussed about Rankine's theory and assumptions. As originally, Rankine's theory of lateral earth pressure is applied to uniform cohesionless soils only. Later, it was extended to include cohesive soil. The theory has also been extended to stratified, partially immersed and submerged soil. So, the following assumptions of Rankine's theories are: first, the soil mass is semi-infinite, homogeneous, dry and cohesionless. Second is, the ground surface is a plane which may be horizontal or inclined. Third one is, the back of the wall is vertical and smooth. In other words, there are no shearing stress between the wall and the soil, and the stress relationship for any element adjacent to the wall is same for any other element far away from the wall. Fourth one is, the wall yields above the base and thus stratified the deformation condition for plastic equilibrium. The retaining wall are constructed of masonry or concrete. Hence, the back of wall is never smooth. Due to this, frictionless force developed. As a consequence of Rankine's assumption of no existence of friction force at the wall face, so the resultant pressure must be parallel to the surface of backfill. The existence of friction makes the resultant pressure inclined to the normal to the wall at an angle that approaches the friction angle between the soil and the wall. Here I discuss about the following cases of cohesionless backfill for active earth pressure. Firstly, dry or moist backfill with no surges. Second is submerged backfill. Third is backfill with uniform surges. Fourth is backfill with sloping surface. And fifth one is inclined back and surges. In this slide, I have discussed about the point, that is dry or moist backfill with no surges. Let us consider an element at a depth z below the ground surface. When the wall is at point of moving outwards, so for the height z, the load transmitted for the height at the base will be Ka gamma into z. Here gamma means dry unit weight of soil. If z is converted to the h or total depth, the load is transmitted to the base, that is Ka gamma into h, or we can say Pa equal to Ka gamma into h. The total active earth pressure, that is P suffix capital A, or resultant pressure per unit length of wall, is found from the triangle pressure distribution diagram. So we can write Pa equal to half into base into altitude. So half into base means Ka into gamma into h, and altitude means h. So finally we can say P suffix capital A equal to half into Ka into gamma into h square, which is acting 1/3 of the base of the wall. And here Ka, that means coefficient of active earth pressure, and the formula of Ka is 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. In this slide, I have discussed about backfill with uniform surges. If we consider there is a uniform surges Q acting on the ground level, then there we consider a imaginary So the imaginary height equal to Q by Z. Q equal to uniform surface. So we can write PA equal to KA gamma H plus KA into Q. This is the continuation of previous slide. In this slide I have discussed about the next point, that is submerged backfill. In this case, the sand field behind the retaining wall is saturated with water. The lateral pressure is made up with two components. One is lateral pressure due to submerged weight gamma dash of the soil, and second one is lateral pressure due to water at any depth z below the surface. So Pa equal to Ka gamma dash z plus gamma wz. From the figure, we can say if Z is replaced by H for total height and water table is on ground level. So we divided this dia into two parts. First one is for the gamma dash and another one is gamma W. Gamma dash equal to gamma set minus gamma W. So we can say Pa equal to Ka gamma dash H plus gamma W H. If water stands to the both side of the wall, then water pressure not to be considered. Then we can say Pa equal to Ka gamma dash into H. Then for the figure 20.6, figure A represent that the backfill is partly submerged and backfill is moist to a depth H1 below the ground level, and then after up to height H2 it is fully saturated. Then Pa for the first portion is Ka gamma H1. That same pressure is act on H2 as an overburden pressure. So in the base, the first component of the load is Ka gamma H1, and for the saturated soil up to height H2 we can say it will be Ka gamma dash H2 plus gamma W H2. So finally we can say Pa equal to Ka gamma H1 plus Ka gamma dash H2 plus gamma W H2. The above expression is on the assumption that the value of phi is same for the moist as well as submerged soil. If it is different, say phi 1 and phi 2 respectively, the earth pressure coefficient Ka1 and Ka2 for the both portion will be different. As phi decreases, Ka increases. The lateral pressure intensity at the base of wall is given by Pa equal to Ka2 gamma H1 plus Ka2 gamma dash H2 plus gamma W H2. We get it from the figure 20.6, figure B. In this slide I have discussed about active earth pressure of cohesive soil. The principal stress relationship on a failure plane is given by a equation sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 tan square alpha plus 2c tan alpha. In this case, the cohesionless soil C is equated to 0 in the Rankine's theory. Extended the theory to the cohesive soil, C has to be taken into account. In the Rankine's theory, for cohesionless soil, C equal to 0. But cohesive soil, C has some value. Consider a retaining wall with a smooth vertical back retaining horizontal backfill at any depth Z we have. So sigma 1 equal to overburden pressure equal to gamma Z, and sigma 3 means lateral pressure, that is Pa. Substituting the value sigma 1, and we can say gamma Z equal to Pa tan square alpha plus 2c tan alpha. Or we can write Pa equal to gamma Z cot square alpha minus 2c cot alpha. Or alpha equal to 45 degree plus 5 by 2. This equation is known as Bell's equation for the lateral pressure of cohesive soil. When Z equal to 0, we say Pa equal to minus 2c cot alpha. And when Pa equal to 0, then Z equal to Z0 equal to 2c by gamma tan alpha. Or finally we can write Z equal to 2c gamma into 1 by root Ka. It shows the negative pressure it developed at the top level of retaining wall. The tension decreased to 0 at depth Z0. Z0 means 2C gamma into tan alpha. Or for depth Z tends to Z0, then pressure is PA. And PA already given, that is already right we equation 20.27, that is PA equal to gamma Z cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha. At Z equal to H, PA equal to gamma H cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha. This is the continuation of previous slide. In this figure, it shows the variation of lateral pressure along the height of the retaining wall. It will be seen that if C were equal to 0, the pressure at the base would have been equal to gamma H cot square alpha. Thus, the effect of cohesion in soil to reduce the pressure intensity everywhere by 2C cot alpha. So, the total pressure, that is PA integration 0 to H PA into dz, or integration 0 to H gamma Z cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha dz. And finally we can write PA equal to half gamma into H square cot square alpha minus 2CH cot alpha. Because of negative pressure, a tension crack is usually developed in the soil near the top of the wall up to a depth Z0. Also, the total net pressure upon the depth, that is 2Z0, is 0. This means the cohesive soil should be able to stand with the vertical face up to a depth 2Z0 without any lateral support. The critical height HC of an unsupported vertical cut into the cohesive soil, that is given by HC equal to 2Z0 equal to 4C gamma into tan alpha. As crack do occur and soil does not necessarily remain to the top portion of wall up to the height Z0, it is usual to neglect the negative pressures and consider the whole positive pressure below Z0. The total lateral thrust on the wall then obtained by integrating between the limit Z0 to H. So, PA equal to integration Z0 to H gamma Z cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha dz, or PA equal to half into gamma into H square minus Z0 square cot square alpha minus 2C H minus Z0 cot alpha. Substituting the equation, substituting Z0 equal to 2C gamma tan alpha, the above equation reduces to PA equal to half gamma into H square cot square alpha minus 2C H cot alpha plus 2C square by gamma. Then backfill with searches. For the lateral pressure, PA equal to gamma Z cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha plus Q cot square alpha. When Z equal to 0, then PA equal to Q into cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha. Or Z0 equal to 2C by gamma tan alpha minus Q by gamma. Our depth Z0 at PA equal to 0, then it is given by Z0 equal to 2C gamma into tan alpha minus Q by gamma. Then submerge backfill. If the water table exists at the depth Z1 below the top of the wall, the lateral pressure at depth Z is given by PA equal to gamma H1 plus gamma dash Z minus H1 into cot square alpha minus 2C cot alpha plus gamma W Z minus H1. In this slide, I have discussed about passive earth pressure, Rankine's theory for cohesionless backfill. In this case, the passive state of plastic equilibrium, the lateral pressure is the major principal stress while vertical pressure is minor principal stress. Thus, sigma H equal to Pp equal to sigma 1 and sigma V equal to sigma 3 equal to gamma Z. Substituting this in the principal stress relationship, that is sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 tan square alpha, Finally, we get Pp equal to gamma z tan square alpha, or Pp equal to Kp gamma z, or Pp equal to passive earth pressure intensity, and Kp equal to Rankine's coefficient of passive earth pressure, or Kp equal to tan square alpha equal to n phi, or Kp equal to, we can say, 1 plus sin phi by 1 minus sin phi equal to 1 by Ka. So the ratio is Kp by K equal to tan square 45 degree plus 5 by 2 by cot square 45 degree plus 5 by 2 equal to 10 to the power 4 45 degree plus pi by 2. For example, if we put theta equal to phi equal to 30 degree, then Kp by K equal to 10 to the power 4 45 plus 30 by 2 equal to 10 to the power 60 degree equal to 9. So Kp equal to 9 Ka. The distribution of passive earth pressure given by equation 20.40 is triangular, with maximum value of Kp gamma h at the base of the retaining wall, where height is h, the total pressure Pp for depth h is given by Pp equal to integration 0 to h Kp gamma z into dz, or Pp equal to half into Kp into gamma into h square. If a uniform surface intensity Q per unit area act over the surface of the backfill, the increase in the passive pressure will be equal to Kp into Q. The passive pressure intensity at the depth z is then given by Pp equal to Kp into gamma z plus Q. And if the backfill is having the top surface inclined at the angle beta, the passive pressure is given by Pp equal to gamma into z cos beta into cos beta plus root over cos square beta minus cos square phi by cos beta minus root over cos square beta minus cos square phi. So Pp equal to Kp into gamma z, where Kp equal to cos beta into cos beta plus root over cos square beta minus cos square phi by cos beta minus root over cos square beta minus cos square phi. In this slide, I have discussed about passive earth pressure for cohesive backfill. For the case of cohesive soil, the principal stress relationship at failure is given by sigma 1 equal to sigma 3 tan square alpha plus 2c tan alpha. For the case of passive pressure, sigma 1 equal to sigma h equal to pp and sigma 3 equal to sigma v equal to gamma z. Substituting this value of sigma 1 and sigma 3, and finally we get pp equal to gamma z tan square alpha, which is represented by a triangle, and 2c tan alpha, which is represented by a rectangle in figure. So pp equal to gamma z n phi plus 2c root over n phi. If z equal to 0, then pp equal to 2c tan alpha, and if z equal to h, then pp equal to gamma h tan square alpha plus 2c tan alpha. The pressure distribution diagram shows that the total pressure is given by Pp equal to integration 0 to h Pp dz, or Pp equal to half into gamma into h square tan square alpha plus 2ch tan alpha, or Pp equal to half into gamma into h square n phi plus 2ch root n phi. In this slide, I have discussed about what is pressure bulb or isobar. An isobar or pressure bulb is a stress contour or a line which connects all the points below the ground surface at which vertical pressure is same. Thus, the stress isobar is called bulb of pressure or simply the pressure bulb. The vertical pressure at each point of the pressure bulb is same. So, from the figure, we can see that stress contour, each contour line has a different value. For the same contour line, there is a same value at any point. In this slide, I have discussed about overburden pressure. Overburden stress, also called vertical stress or overburden pressure. It is the pressure imposed on a layer of soil by the weight of layer on top of it. It is denoted by sigma V. Using the above image, the overburden pressure at the bottom of the layer 3 can be calculated as below. In the figure, there is a overburden pressure Q and the soil is divided into 3 layers and their depth are respectively D1, D2, D3, and for the layer first soil is dry condition and second and third layer soil is in saturated condition. So overburden pressure gamma D equal to gamma D into D1 plus gamma sat plus D2 plus gamma sat plus D3 plus Q. In this slide, I have discussed about some solved problem which is very important for examination. So, the first problem is compute the intensities of active and passive earth pressure at depth of 8 meter in dry cohesionless sand with an angle of internal friction of 30 degree and unit weight of 18 kilonewton per meter cube. What will be the intensities of active and passive earth pressure if the water level rises to the ground level? Take the saturated unit weight of sand as 22 kilonewton per meter cube. So firstly we have to calculate for dry soil and we have to calculate Ka and Kp. So the formula of calculate Ka, active earth pressure, equal to 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi, and finally we get the answer of K, that is 1/3, and Kp, the formula of Kp equal to 1 plus sin phi by 1 minus sin phi equal to 1 by Ka equal to 3. So finally we have put all the values of Ka and Kp, and after that we have calculate Pa and Pp. So the formula of Pa equal to Ka gamma into H, and we have the answer of Pa, that is 48 kilonewton per meter square, and the formula of Pp equal to Kp gamma into H, and finally get the answer of Pp, that is 432 kilonewton per meter square. After that we have calculate submerged backfill. So gamma dash equal to gamma set minus gamma W. So the answer of gamma dash equal to 12.19 kilonewton per meters cube. After that we have calculate Pa and Pp. So the formula of Pa for submerged backfill is Ka gamma H plus gamma WH, and finally we get the answer, that is 111 kilonewton per meter square, and the formula of Pp equal to Kp gamma dash H plus gamma WH, and finally we get the answer of Pp of submerged backfill, that is 371 kilonewton per meter square. The second problem is for an earth retaining wall shown in figure. Sketch the earth pressure diagram under active state and find the total thrust per unit length of wall and its location. So already given in questions a diagram. In diagram what is given? Q, that is load, equal to 14 kilonewton per meter square. Water table is given, total height is given 10 meter, phi is given 30 degree, gamma d is given 15.7 kilonewton per meter cube, gamma sat is given 19.8 kilonewton per meters cube. So finally first we have calculate P1, pressure 1. So the formula of P1 is Ka into Q. So first of all we have calculate Ka. So what is the formula of Ka? Ka equal to 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. Phi equal to 30 degree already given in question. So we have to put the value of phi, that is 30 degree. So 1 minus sin 30 by 1 plus sin 30 equal to 1/3. And Q equal to 14 already given in question. So 1/3 into 14, that is 4.67 kilonewton per meter square. That is the value of P1. Then we have calculate P2. The formula of P2 equal to Ka gamma d into H1. Value of K is 1/3. Gamma D already given in question, that is 15.7. And H1, what is the value of H1? The total height already given 10 meter, and the H2, the height of H2 is 6 meter. So the H1 equal to 10 minus 6, that is 4 meter. So the value of H1 is 4 meter. So finally we get the value P2, that is 20.93 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have calculate P3. P3 equal to P2. So the value of P3 is same as P2, that is 20.93 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have to calculate P4. The formula of P4 is Ka gamma dash into H2. So P4 means half into gamma dash means gamma sat by gamma W. The value of gamma sat is 19.8 already given, and gamma W we know 9.81 into H2. The value of H2 is 6 already, we find out, that is 6. So the value of P4 is 19.98 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have calculate P5. The formula of P5 is gamma W into H2. Gamma W means 9.81, and the H2 already we know 6. So the final value of P5 is 58.86 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have calculate the pressure. We have calculate the water thrust per unit length. So P1 equal to, the value of P1 already we find out, that is 4.67 into 10 means H, equal to 46.7 kilonewton per meter, which acting at Z1. Z1 means it is a rectangle P1, so it is acting on half of the base. So 10 by 2 equal to 5 meter above the base. Then we have calculate P2. P2 means half into P2, value of P2 is 20.92 into 4. 4 means the height of H1. Then we have already given the value of P2, that is 41.86 kilonewton per meter acting at Z2. Z2 means H2 plus 4 by 3. 4 means H1. H1 by 3 means 4 by 3. So 6 plus 4 by 3 equal to 7.33 from the base of above. Then we have calculate P3, that is 20.93 into 6. The value of P2 and P3 is same. Into 6. 6 means H2. H2 means 6. So the final value of P3 is 125.58 kilonewton per meter, which acting at Z3. Z3 means 6 by 2 means rectangle. So 6 by 2 means 3 above the base. P4 means half into P4, value of P4 19.81 into H2 6. So finally we get the value of P4, that is 59.94 kilonewton per meter acting at Z4. Z4 means it is a triangle, that is 6 by 3 equal to 2 meter above the base. Then P5, that is half into, value of P5 already we have calculated, that is 58.68 into 6. So the total value of P5, that is 176.58 kilonewton per meter acting at Z5 means 6 by 3 equal to 2 meter above base. So now we have calculate the total P. So finally we get the total pressure, that is 450.66 kilonewton per meter, and then we calculate Z. Z means P1 into Z1 plus P2 into Z2 plus P3 into Z3 plus P4 into Z4 plus P5 into Z5 by total P, and finally we get the answer of Z, that is 3.085 meter above the base. This is the third problem. So the problem is a 6 meter high vertical wall supported a saturated cohesive backfill phi u equal to 0 with horizontal surface. The top 3 meter of the backfill with 80 kN per meter cube and has an apparent cohesion of 18 kN per meter square. The bulk unit weight and apparent cohesion of the bottom 3 meter of backfill are respectively 20 kN per meter cube and 24 kN per meter square. What is the likely depth of tension crack behind the wall? If tension crack develop, what will be the total active pressure? Draw the pressure distribution diagram and determine the point of application of the resultant pressure. So first of all, we have calculate the active earth pressure for a saturated clay, that is phi u equal to 0 is given in question. So Pa equal to gamma sat into Z minus 2 Cu, and the height of tension crack is given, that is Z0 equal to 2 Cu by gamma sat. For topsoil, gamma sat is 18 kN per meter cube, already given in question, and Cu equal to 18 kN per meter square, already given in questions, and the bottom soil, that is gamma sat, equal to 20 kN per meter cube and Cu equal to 24 kN per meter square, already given in question. So first we have calculate when Z equal to 0, then Pa means minus 2 Cu, because we know the formula of Pa, that is gamma sat into Z minus 2 Cu. If Z equal to 0, then first part is already 0, then the remaining part is minus 2 Cu. So the value of 2 Cu is minus 2 into Cu means 18. So minus 36 kN per meter square. Then we have calculated Z0, that is the formula of Z0 is 2 Cu by gamma sat equal to 2 into 18 by 18, that is 2 meter. So the value of Z0 is 2 meter. Then we have calculate if Z equal to 3, what is the value of Pa, and when Z greater than 3, then what is the value of Pa. So first case, Z equal to 3 meter, then the formula of Pa equal to gamma sat into 3 minus 2 into 18, that is 18 kN per meter square. When Z greater than 3, the formula of Pa equal to gamma sat into 3 plus 20 into Z minus 3 minus 2 into 24. 2 means Z0. The value of Z0 is 2. So 2 into 24 equal to 54 plus 20 into Z minus 3 minus 48. This is the continuation of previous part. In this part, first we have put the value of Z, that is 3 meter. So the Pa will be 6 kN per meter square, and then we have put Z equal to 6 meter, then the value of Pa will be 66 kN per meter square. Then we draw the pressure diagram from the active earth pressure of cohesive soil. We know the upper portion is in left side because here Z equal to 0 and Pa equal to minus 2 Cu. Here the value of Cu for the first 3 meter is 18 kN per meter square. So Pa equal to minus 2 Cu. So Pa equal to minus 36 kN per meter square. Then Pa will be 0 at 2 meter because we put the value of gamma sat, that is 18 kN per meter cube, and height is 2 meter. So Pa equal to 0. Then for another 1 meter, the value of Pa equal to 18 into 3 minus 18 into 2 means 18 kN per meter square. It is the value of for 1 meter. So for the figure for 3 meter is like, first is 36, the value of 36 from left side, then for 2 meter, then for 1 meter the value is 18. Then for the rest of 3 meter, firstly when we put z equal to 3, we can see Pa equal to 6 kilonewton per meter square, and when we put z equal to 6, we found Pa equal to 66 kilonewton per meter square. So last part of 3 meter, the figure will be seen that, so the diagram will be clear to you. Then, assuming that the tension crack have been developed, the net active pressure equal to the area of positive pressure diagram. So Pa equal to half into base into height, that is 9 kilonewton per meter, which acting at 3 plus 1/3, that is 3.33 meter from the base. Then we have calculate P2. So the formula of P2 is half into 6 plus 66 into 3. So the formula of P2 is 108 kilonewton per meter, which acting at 2/3 into 3 into 6 plus 66 by 66 by 6. So value of P2 is 1.083 meter from the base. So the total pressure P equal to P1 plus P2. So P1 means 9 plus P2 means 108. So the total P is 117 kilonewton per meter length. And the distance of the point of application of P from the base is given Z bar equal to P1 into Z1 plus P2 into Z2 by P. So the final answer is 1.26. So the Z bar equal to 1.26 meter. The fourth problem is, a retaining wall 10 meter high retains a cohesionless soil having an angle of internal friction of 30 degree. The surface of the soil is level with the top of the wall. The top 3 meter of fill has a unit weight of 20 kilonewton per meter cube, and that of the rest is 30 kilonewton per meter cube. Find the magnitude per meter run and the point of applications of the resultant active thrust. Assume phi the same for the both strata. In this problem, first of all, we have to calculate Ka. So the formula of Ka is 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi, and in questions already given the value of phi, that is 30 degree. So the value of Ka is 1 by 3. Then we have calculate gamma 1, H1 and P1. So gamma 1 equal to 20 kilonewton per meter cube for soil 1, and H1 is 3 meter. Because the total height is 10 meter, in soil 2 the height of H2 is 7 meter, so H1 is 10 minus 7, that is 3 meter. So P1 equal to Ka into gamma 1 into H1. So we have put all the value, and finally we get the value of P1, that is 20 kilonewton per meter square. And P2 means P1 equal to P1, that is 20 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have calculate P3 equal to Ka into gamma 2 into H2. So Ka means 1 by 3 into gamma 2 equal to 30, already given in question, that is soil 2. In soil 2 the value of gamma is 30 kilonewton per meter cube, and phi is 30 degree, and the H2 is 7 meter. So the value of P3 is 70 kilonewton per meter square. Then we have calculate the water thrust per unit length. So P1 equal to half into P1 into H1, that is half into the value of P1 already we find out, that is 20 into H1 means 3. So the value of P1 is 30 kilonewton per meter, and Z1 is 7 plus 1/3 into 3, that is 8 meter above the base. And then P2 means P2 into H2 means 7 meter, and P2 means P1 equal to P2, so the value of P1 is 20, so value of P2 is 20 into 7, that is 140 kilonewton per meter, acting on Z2 means 7 by 2 means 3.5 meter above base. Then P3 means half into P3 into H2. The value of P3 is already we find out, that is 70, and H2 is 7 meters. So the value of P3 is 245 kilonewton per meter at Z3. Z3 means 7 by 3, that is 2.33 above the base. Then finally we find out the total P, that is 30 plus 140 plus 245 equal to 415 kilonewton per meter run, acting at Z. So the formula of Z is P1 into Z1 plus P2 into Z2 plus P3 into Z3 by total P. So the value of Z is 3.137 meter above the base.